Hi, my name is Mallory Russell, and I am here to discuss creating effective presentations for adult learners. Andragogy refers to adult education. This term was popularized by a man named Malcolm Knowles. Knowles' studies were focused on the theory that adult learners have a different approach to learning than children. From his research, he developed 5 assumptions about the characteristics of adult learners, and these include self-concept, experience, readiness to learn, orientation to learning, and also motivation to learn. Self-concept refers to the fact that adult learners tend to like more self-directed learning because as we mature, we become more independent, and adult learners like to take more ownership over their learning and have more control over how they are learning information. The second assumption, experience, has to do with the fact that because learners are older, they have a lot more life experience to connect new concepts to, whereas when we're children, we're just trying to learn a lot of things for the first time. Adult learners tend to be more selective about what they learn, which can affect their readiness to learn. They must see some sort of benefit to what they are learning in order to be motivated to learn about the specific topic. It may also be helpful to make sure the adult learners know why what they are learning is important and how it can be applied to their job. And then this is also different than children because children are learning and absorbing as much as they can. Orientation has to do with the fact that while we tend to have more subject-based learning as children, as adults we need more problem-based learning. It helps to have scenario-based learning so that adult learners may focus on problems which are relevant to them. Motivation to learn changes as people age as well. Children have external motivators such as their parents or their teachers, while adults have internal motivators such as wanting a raise or a promotion or even just some sort of extension of particular skills. The reason why we must apply these andragogical principles when we create and deliver professional development is because they must be geared toward our learners. We want to make sure that adult learners feel that we are presenting to them, like what we're presenting to them is useful and achievable. Otherwise, there will be no buy-in and they most likely will not apply what they have learned to their future practices. Some best practices for creating and delivering effective presentations to adult learners include facilitating learning, allowing for choice, building on existing expertise, limiting the learning to just a couple key objectives, and starting and ending on time. As a facilitator of learning, you are not expected to be an expert on the specific topics that are being presented. Rather, you're there to help guide everyone in their learning. And the choices that you build into the presentation can be as small as letting the learner decide on which article out of a few options they would like to read, who they would like to have a discussion with, or how they would like to reflect on a specific reading or activity. As I mentioned before, facilitators don't need to know everything. It's useful to read the room and figure out what prior knowledge and expertise is in the room so that you can build on that. It's also important to limit how much we want learners to take away from the presentation. If we try to cram too much information and too many objectives into a presentation, the learners may become overwhelmed and feel frustrated. The presenter will end up talking too much and there will be little time left over for learners to work, think, and reflect. The last piece is that the presentation must start and end on time. This shows that you honor the learner's time, and it also develops trust between the facilitator and the learners. As a presenter, it's important to think about the biases that you have and the biases that your audience may have. These biases can clash and affect the way you're received, your trustworthiness, and your reliability as an expert. The presenter's bias may be visible in how they deliver their presentation and through their mannerisms. It's useful to look over your presentation beforehand and think about the cultural context that the audience and you bring to the presentation. The race, ethnicity, nationality, and heritage of your audience, possible language barriers, biases your audience may have about you, and the cultural context of your presentation topic. If you take all of these things we've discussed, including andragogy, assumptions of adult learners, best practices, and biases, your presentation is far more likely to be successful. Thank you so much for your time.